Hey, what's up, y'all? It's D about to react to this vid by 4D Shams. It's titled The Epidemic of Performative Couples. They're all performative. Every last one of them. They're all so cheesy. But sure, let's see who he puts on here. Let's watch.
Want to see the cringiest, most coupley thing ever? This is called a love surge. And we do this when one of us has like so much love in our limbs that we can't contain it and feel like we're going to explode. So Sean is having a love surge right now, and he's going to wrap around me and shake with the electricity of love until I catch it too and start shaking, and then you explode with a love surge.
Y'all don't ever do that off camera.
About that clip
Go to hell.
Self-awareness.
Oh, he got a big Connect 4 in the back. I told y'all. If you saw my other video where I talked about this, I am the Connect 4 champion. Nobody beats me. Ask my friends, okay? They have seen me out and about demolish a lot of people. I have one homie in particular. He's like, nah, something is going on. Like, what's happening? Because he never beats me. And now he's like determined to win. It never happens. When I play strangers out and about, whenever we see this big Connect 4, it's game time and I am victorious. I'm serious. I don't lose in this game. There's a strategy.
Glad she acknowledged that shit was corny as hell. But believe it or not, as corny as it may be, there's millions of people out there who are tuning in for this type of content. The most obviously staged, performative, corny content. I mean, some of this stuff will even give romantic novels a run for their money. And I think the most insane part about this whole thing is that people actually believe clips like this.
Children.
And then in the car, and he was like, okay, well, not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. So we set a day for 2 weekends, 2 weeks in advance, what he did, right?
He looked like a serial killer.
Engagement farming, by the way. Like, let's be honest, bro knows that the women in the comments are gonna be like, oh my god, girl, he's so in love with you. If he doesn't look at me like that, I don't want it. And I'm not even exaggerating either. That's literally how a lot of their comment sections look. Yo, bro, record me looking at her like I'm really in love and you know, I'm so infatuated with her. I low-key wouldn't be surprised if he literally
and this is no shade to virgins, but I just assume if you're a virgin, you probably just, you know, the chances are very, very high that you don't have a lot of dating experience. So maybe you would fall for something like this. Not everybody, obviously, but for someone to fall for this, they have to have like zero experience dating or sleeping with anybody, you know? So that is why I'm throwing that out there. So, yeah.
Gave the phone to the camera person and told him, yeah, get me looking at her while she's talking like I'm so in love with her, you know, she's got me in this trance. And just look at all the women in the comments falling for this hook, line, and sinker. Girl, whatever you said, he did not hear it. He got 20 birds flying around his head. So this is love. I need a man that looks at me like this.
Jesus.
See?
No, y'all are... Get off the internet and go outside and maybe you will find someone and you will see this is not genuine. Okay? Because ain't no way y'all are bamboozled by this. That just pissed me off that y'all are that slow.
Actually genuinely believe this, bro. That's all I want. The love in his eyes for you. And you know, putting aside the fact that they obviously know that the camera's recording, I might actually believe this once or twice. But when your whole page is filled with content that looks like a scene that's straight out of a romantic novel.
When someone does really look at you, okay, in adoration, they're not gonna look like that. It's not gonna look. That looks so performative and like fake. That's not real. Real people don't act like that. And you would have to go outside and interact with others to understand that. But that's not a genuine human interaction.
Sorry, I'm not falling for that. And you know, if this was one of those things like WWE where everybody knows it's fake, but it's entertaining and there's like unexpected outcomes sometimes, and, you know, it's planned really well so it's enjoyable, I totally understand. But no, there's people who fall for this type of content, hook, line, and sinker. That's part of the reason why these couple pages are so popular. When it comes to social media, there's obviously a plethora of different types of content. You got the gaming content, you got the gooner content, you got the family channels, you got the comedic content, and then of course you have the couples.
What is the gooner content? I know what gooning means. I wish I didn't. But you know, being on the fucking internet, you find out things you don't want to know. But what would gooner content be? Are we talking about our obsession with corn and how we do certain things, our techniques? Like, what are we talking about with the gooner content? If you are a consumer of gooner content, let me know. Or you might not want to out yourself. You don't have to say that you are a consumer of it, but just if you know what it means, please share with the class.
content. These couples who basically record their day-to-day lives and showcase how much they care about each other, all the things they do for one another, how deeply in love and infatuated they are with one another. Some popular white couples include Megan and Jack, Austin and Lexi, Sam and Monica. And then on the black side of couples content, we got De'Ara and Ken, Chris and Queen, Neek and King, Desmond and Christy. Mind you, none of them are still together to this day. And it's crazy because there's a huge portion of these people's fans who actually are surprised that they're no longer together. They're actually surprised that the fake perfect couple persona that they portray online isn't real. And I don't know if it's because their avid viewers live vicariously through them. Like, they genuinely delude themselves into believing that whatever they see on camera is truly how that relationship functions. But the thing is, one of these couples will break up and you'll have people in the comments talking about, oh, I don't believe in love anymore. I lost all hope in love. As if they think that real relationships are like this melodramatic act that they're seeing on their screens. Brief intermission, y'all. I'm here with the promise I would never try to finesse to download, test her up, and make some money on today. And I think the most recent and most fitting example of what I'm talking about is Christy and Desmond, the huge internet couple who recently broke up. And honestly, after seeing clips like this, I don't even know why people are surprised that they broke up. I could have seen that shit coming from like 10 miles away.
Christy. Christy. Christy, are those tongs?
I'm sorry, but at some point that had to have gotten exhausting. Because imagine every single day for years on end, over and over again, you're getting hit with similar pranks and you gotta walk into a room or walk into your car and act like you don't see the camera that's low-key right in front of your face. You gotta pretend like you're not expecting the prank that your partner does about the same time every single week. And on top of that, you gotta act like the joke that was said or made or the prank that was done on you is still as entertaining or funny as the first time it was done. I'm sorry, but unless you're some sort of A-tier trained actor, I don't think a normal person can keep this act up indefinitely. But all that aside, I genuinely do feel like you have to have a certain level of delusion to actually be entertained and believe this level of acting.
Hey, babe. Are you coming out here? Okay, let's see how long I can keep my hand here. How long do I got?
You can't do that, you're gonna hurt you, break your fingers.
Okay, so dude walks into the garage. She literally explains exactly what she's gonna do, which, keep in mind, it sounds absolutely dangerous. So if he wanted to prevent it, he would have prevented it right there. He then proceeds to let her do it, but it seems like it failed the first time because the car seems to have some sort of safety feature that prevents her hand from being stuck. Whole time, dude is still standing there, by the way, letting her proceed. And then he goes on to say, you can't do that, you're gonna break your finger. And I think like he went off script there and he had to get back on track. The scene switches to the camera that's behind him, and he low-key tilts his head, but not all the way so he doesn't make eye contact with the camera. And then he has to do the same, oh no, type of reaction when her fingers apparently get chopped off. Like, bro, this is WWE level acting right here. And there's more. When will this stop? Was he trying to send us subliminal messages? And it's crazy because at some point it became so apparent to see the point where he became completely fed up with the process of making content with his wife. I ain't gonna lie, dude was looking like he couldn't stand her ass. And the thing is, his little default laugh started becoming harder and harder to watch. Like, this dude would go from being dead serious to hysterically laughing with no in-between. And for avid laughers like myself, you know that when you laugh, there's low-key a buildup. At first the joke sets in, you know, your brain is processing it, and then you giggle a little bit, and then you start laughing, and then there's like the peak of the laughter where like the joke set in and like you completely internalize it, and then you slowly like taper off. You don't go 0 to 100 like this. You see how that low-key looks crazy? And see, there's this thing that I think that people who are chronically online tend to suffer from. And it's something called object permanence. And just to explain object permanence a little bit, it's something that babies have where if they don't see an object or a person, they think it doesn't exist. That's why babies find things like peekaboo so entertaining or sometimes shocking, because you're literally disappearing and then reappearing. But the point I'm trying to make here is that these adults suffer from the same thing. They think because they don't see these couples arguing that their arguments don't exist. They think that since every time they see them, they're portraying this perfect relationship, that's how their whole relationship is. But in all honesty, if more of these internet couples were transparent, this is some of the things you would see.
Babe, don't touch me in places when I bored.
What are you doing? 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 What are you doing?
music, because that's weird, babe. We cater to families.
And I think another thing that people need to acknowledge is that at some point these couple pages don't just become about the relationship. Sure, they might start that way, but at some point it becomes a business. Because when you include the views, the sponsorships, and all the above, these couple pages can easily be bringing in millions. So I definitely feel like there gets to a point in the relationship where there's a crossroad. Do we record every second of our day and make content out of it so we can make this money? Or do we try to preserve our relationship and keep it authentic? And of course, there is probably a balance between the two, but I can only imagine it being very difficult to try to maintain that balance, especially as they gain popularity and more opportunities start to present themselves. Like, I can't imagine trying to have an intimate moment with my girl and then like there's a camera right there and maybe we didn't do something right or it didn't turn out as well as it could have, so we gotta rerun it. Or maybe there wasn't even a camera involved to begin with, but we reenact it so we can get it on camera. And then imagine having to do multiple takes. Yeah, those relationships are probably extremely stressful. And I think the archetype of internet relationship that I hate the most is the interracial couple. Whether it's a black man with a non-black woman, or you have a bunch of
they make that the focus of their content.
About, yeah, if it's not snowing, I'm not going, or go where you're loved. Or the other side where it's a black woman and then a non-black man, and then you have black women in the comments who are congratulating her, praising her for not being with a black man. I think that's very weird behavior. We've already had a content creator get exposed for playing into this harmful narrative. This content creator's whole spiel was that she was a single mother of two, and then this white man came and married her and basically acted like her savior. And then she would later on expose that she was basically funding the whole relationship, paying for everything.
Deposit on our house. Let's not pretend that I'm not the one that paid for the Range Rover. Let's not pretend that I'm the one that paid for this whole fucking life that we live. Let's not pretend that. Let's not pretend.
And hey, man, if she's bred it up and she chooses to be in a relationship with him, it's not crazy that she's paying for stuff. But see, that whole relationship got really weird when he did this. Reminder to take care of your families or men like us will. And then he proceeds to show a bunch of white men. Oh, brother. Way to feed into harmful stereotypes. And I think the only other internet archetype that might be just as bad is the pandering boyfriend or husband archetype. These relationship pages where the man will basically act holier than thou, pander up and down to women, and set some of the most unrealistic standards for the regular average man. Dude will post stuff like this and women will eat it up.
First, 100,000. Another 100,000, so I appreciate your loyalty. Another 100,000 because you're an excellent mother.
Gave her 300,000. Go ahead.
And 50,000 just in case you want to splurge on me or something. I love you from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head.
And the thing is, a lot of times this type of content is extremely disingenuous and extremely disrespectful to regular hard-working men. Because no, your average man isn't gonna have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in the bank to get away from their significant other. That is by no means realistic. But the men in these internet relationships will try to make it seem like that's the norm, that's the standard. And they largely do this because they know that women will bite. It'll get the views. Women will be in the comments like, yes, that's a real man right there. When I would argue that the man that's working his ass off to provide for his family is just as much of a man, if not more.
Here's 100,000. Here go another 100,000. What are we talking about? Whoever believes that is just slow, okay? Slow as hell. But it's a lot of people who be in these comments and they be eating it up. But my conclusion is they are either bots or children or just, you know, they're not right upstairs. Their elevator doesn't go all the way to the top so you can convince them of anything, you know. We don't need to say what type of people those are, but you know who they are. Because normal adults with normal social lives, they wouldn't feed into any of this at all. But, I mean, yeah, there is a market for it because they are popular. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye!